Alright boys, Deus 2, beta version 3.03. I'm going to show the fast multi-frequency 9-inch coil and the HF2 coil on this little nail here in that Clad dime. Now you remember, people could have already been out in sites hunting them previously. You know, this coil is coming in behind everything else. But there are chances finds could be still in sites where people haven't swept them, maybe from the correct way. Sensitive program, 40 max frequency, silencer 2, reactivity 3, iron tit is off. What do we get here? You see that idea in that window? Iron tit is off. You've got a 9. Some people with a Deus 2 may not even rotate on that target. If you do, you see what you got, you hear what you got in the speaker. Reactivity 1.5. This is from about 4 inches above. Now that could be a silver ring there, okay? You see what you got in that meter? 928. Some people might not even stop on that, huh? Rotate. Alright, we'll go back to speed 2.5, frequency max 24. What happens? You see that? About 4 inches over that dime and that nail. You got a 10 in the meter, 14 max band. What happens? $43 in the meter, 54, 15, the 88 way out to the right at times. But you got to be paying attention. You know, you listen to that audio. That's 4 tones, default set 4 tone. Okay. Back to the 40 max band. Just sweeping that right there, listening to that, you wouldn't suspect maybe a high conductor in there, would you? Doesn't sound like this, does it? Hear that? Doesn't sound like that, does it? I'm going to turn the camera off. We're going to put this HF2 coil on here. Alright, HF2 coil is on. We're in sensitive program. 6.8 is the Deus. Silencer number 2. 90 sensitivity. 2.5 reactivity. This is the 53 kilohertz band. Alright. Same height I swept the HF or the fast multi-frequency coil. You see what's in that meter? 81. Now remember what a nickel reads on this machine. Nickel reads somewhere between 64, 68, depending on what frequency you're running. Alright? So how much junk in a site would read 81 exactly? How many pull rings? You know, here's the nickel right here. Right there it is, right there. You see that? So if you're using this machine out in the wild, you know, you might want to run your old notch. Maybe you want to run your notch of, let's back this up here a little bit. 20, whoops. 20 over to about, let's say you don't even want to look, you're not looking for gold rings, you're just looking for high conductors. About 78, 20 to 78. Now, that is speed 2.5, here's speed 1.5. Okay. The ID on that's 83. All right, 82. speed 3. So you got that reading 81 in there, and you've got that notch in this machine, okay? You see what I've got there. You done seen what that coil does, that 9-inch coil, from this same direction. Now, I can rotate on this target as well. 94 in the meter, okay? So you hear that. You've got the notch in the machine. You mash that ground balance button. You know, you see these targets that read below what like a silver dime reads, even below what an Indian head reads, below what a silver quarter reads, but they're quite a ways away. 82's quite a ways away from that nickel right there, ain't it? Now I'm gonna mash the ground balance button. It's got 64 right there. So you're gonna be out there, you know, where your little notch are going. You hit that signal right there. You mash that ground balance button. You hear that right there? Hear that sound? Let's remove that dime. Now all's down there is that old nail. You hear that? You don't hear what you heard when that dime was down there, do you? Listen. Hear that? With one push of the old ground balance button, you don't even have to rotate. Maybe you can't rotate because there's a tree in your way or something. Or a fence. Okay? Ground balance button out. Now, dime's a little closer to that nail. I can move it a little farther away. I think I didn't put it back in the same spot. You hear that? And I got that 81 in that meter, and I mashed that ground balance button. That's from 4 inches above. Listen. That's telling you. As small as that coil is, unlike that coil and that 11-inch coil, this coil here really will show you co-location. You ain't got to move that coil much. You notice that? You hear that and you might say, well, let me come over here and sweep this. Turn the ground balance button off. Right there's 4 inches. I've got 91 in the meter. 88, the ID's come up. And what happens if I mash this ground balance button over here? What do you hear? Listen. Straight over that dime, 480. Listen. Now I'm going to come over here. Hear the difference? So you can almost bet which way the masking is happening on that dime. Okay? And that doesn't read silver dime or anywhere close on this machine with that coil. I could probably go in the house and get the 11 by 13. So that could be a silver something, higher conductor, laying out there. Now, since I'm in here, I'll show this. 8.8 kilohertz mono program. Reactivity 2. So you hit it with that 2. But the ID is all over the place, okay? It's reading from the 30s all the way to 80. Multi-frequency area. Now, what we can do here, let's go over here. Let's get out of mono program. Let's slide back here to sensitive. Frequency max 29 kilohertz. You seen what this machine did with that coil on it, even at 14 max frequency band. This is 29 kilohertz, reactivity 2.5. Now, I've got my notch in here now. Notch is 20 to 78. Okay, let's listen. So I've got 87 in the window. Well, we already know a zinc and penny reads higher than that, don't we? But when I mash this ground balance button, you hear that? And if I take the dime away, you hear that. We put the dime back, you hear that. If we take the nail away, we hear that. All right? So when you're out perusing around with this coil, don't be too stuck up on what we call near perfect ID numbers. You know the old saying, right? If you're doing what everybody else is doing, you don't want to do that. Oh yeah, they go out, oh yeah, I've got 99 in the meter, 98 in the meter, I think I'll dig. That might be a silver coin. You can do that with this machine. But it ain't gonna get you everything this thing can get you. Now, if you don't hear any, if that is a junker reading target down there that's reading 81, when you mash this ground balance button, you're not going to hear that nail if it's a solo setting target. All right? You're not going to hear it. It'll be clean. It'll be a clean 81. A clean 81 with this machine probably ain't a silver anything. That's going to conclude the video, the Mighty Deus 2.